Hello there, Razorback fans. Forest City Joe here. After another disappointing Razorback loss, they lost down in Baton Rouge, 34-31. I sit here about an hour after the game has ended. I've been thinking about the game and how winnable it was. Hogs could have won this game, and in my opinion, should have won this game. Red zone is still killing us because of the play calling and the execution, but mostly the play calling. You're at the 6-inch line again, half-yard line, with a chance to score a touchdown and go up 7-0. And what do? Yes, you put KJ on the center, but instead of doing that quarterback sneak with the running backs pushing KJ forward, you try to hand the ball in the backfield again, and the guy would not have made that third down. He would have been hit 3 yards in the backfield, but it wouldn't have counted anyway because you go to a long count, which you did all night, and you got motion penalties so many times I stopped counting. Now, people will say that's just a lack of discipline by the players. Let me tell you something. Going to a long count in front of 100,000 people down at LSU and Death Valley down there is crazy. I'm not saying you got to go to the line and go on a quick count every time, but if you're at the goal line, get your quarterback on the center, go on a quick count, and tell the backs to push forward. That's all you have to do. Why do this coaching staff make it more complicated than it has to be? I don't get it. Now, let me say this. I got a lot of frustrations about this ball game, and there's no such thing as a moral victory. You either win or you lose. This is the University of Arkansas Razorbacks. Coach Brawls would never say anything about a moral victory. He was all about you either win or you lose. And I grew up with Coach Brawls and Lou Holtz and Ken Hatfield. Those guys were about winning. You do whatever it takes to win. Now, having said that, let me get to I'll get to the game. But first of all, I want to compliment our players. Played their hearts out tonight. They deserve better than this. They really do. They deserve a win like this, a win of this magnitude. Another, what can I say? Another 3-point loss, another 1-score loss. After having won last week and having 4 dating back to last year. That's 6 1-score losses in the last the last year and 4 games. Man, it's gut-wrenching. And I will say this, I feel for our players more than anybody because they the one putting in the hard work. They're the one out there playing. And I just hurt for them so much because I want to see them win. Get to feel good, get the feeling of winning. And it just ain't happening. Let me make myself clear. There are no more victories at the University of Arkansas. You win or you lose, and the Hogs had every chance to win this ball game. But once again, penalties and stupid play calls at the goal line again. And throughout the game, trying to hold your offensive lineman in these long snap counts. And you kept getting motion penalties. I mean, yeah, it's lack of discipline, but it's also lack of coaching. I'm sorry. You can't go to a super long count like the Razorbacks were doing and don't expect any motion penalties in an environment like that. Now, you may say, well, Joe, you're making excuses for the player. No, I'm not. The players, when they make mistakes, I'll be the first one on here saying it. And they made some mistakes tonight. And I'm saying it. The mistakes they made hurt them again. But don't tell me I'm not right about this. This coach from the goal line, why are you going to a long snap count? Get your big 250-pound quarterback on the center and push forward. It ain't that complicated, folks. Now, I wrote down some notes during the game of stuff that happened. Sam Pittman, after the game, says his team were not smart enough to win a game like this. And he's talking about the penalties. Well, I'm from the old school. Penalties, in my opinion, goes on coaching. Either you put a stop to it or you're willing to tolerate it. And so far, this goes back to last year and the year before last when this team was just riddled with penalties. And a lot of these guys are different players, but they're getting the same results. That tells me it's coaching. I'm sorry, but it is. Now, before I go on, am I ready to fire Sam Pittman right now? No, I'm not. I'm still behind Pittman and hope he can get this thing turned around and start winning some of these one-score games that he keeps losing. Tonight, for instance, using up all your timeouts this early in games. And come to the end of the game, you need to timeout. And then knowing you don't have any timeouts, instead of telling your guys, just let them score. Give me a minute and a half or so, just let them score. Don't tackle anybody. You're not tackling people when they got a chip shot field goal. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I'm telling you, some of this stuff you cannot make up. There's a reason, folks, the Hawks keep losing these one-score games. And it ain't all on the other team having more talent. BYU didn't have more talent last week. They got beat by double digits by Kansas today. They're not that good. Liberty didn't have the talent advantage last year. They came into Fayetteville and won. This cannot continue to happen. The loss tonight to LSU in a very winnable game is another example of, in my opinion, of why this team can't win close games. I think a lot of it is mismanagement by the coaches. Just like that A&M game last year when the kicker kicked the ball off the uprights when Sam was trying to play for a field goal as the clock was running out and the game was winding down. You can't make this stuff up. Yes, I'm a frustrated Razorback fan. And as I said, I hurt more for the players and than I do anybody else. Even we, the fans, got to admit it's got to be just gut-wrenching on the players because you know how it is on the fan base, especially on a guy like me. My only interest is I love the Hogs, enjoy watching them and have all my life. And it hurts me to see them lose, especially in winnable games like last week, this week, and some of the games from last year that they lost like this. But I don't know, folks. I don't know what to say. It's reached the point where I expect them to lose these type games. That's not good. Okay. You know, I've given my opinion about not trying that quarterback sneak at the goal line again. There's really nothing more I can say about it. Apparently, they just said, "The hell with that. We're going to do it our way." So, whatever. I'm going to close this video out by saying this. Where does the program go from here? Still no Isaiah Satenga on the field. I mean, getting no plays at all in the offense. Why do we go from here? We can't keep accepting losing. I'm not ready to fire Sam Pittman yet. I want him to keep recruiting, keep building this program, and see where it goes. But at some point, you know, you got to do something. Well, a lot of people saying fire Cody Kennedy, the offensive line coach. We got more problems with offensive line than offensive line folks. And in tonight's game, you know, the defense just could not stop LSU after that first quarter. I mean, they scored on just about every possession. You can't have that. What are you doing at the end of the half? Letting a man get behind you when you're up 13-3. Why are you in man defense instead of a prevent defense? And the man still runs by you. Singleton had a rough night. But that coverage at the end of that first half was just crazy. And again, comes back to coaching. The head coach can say to the defense coordinator, I want to be in prevent. Not man in that situation. Then throughout the game, it was the same thing. I mean, I don't know. It's late. Another disappointing loss. I'm disgusted, but I feel for the players. They played hard, and they left it all out there. But right now, we just keep finding ways to lose. I'm gonna sign off for the night, folks. Another tough night.